Hey everyone. Okay, I'm a little crooked here, so let's straighten that. Okay, I really don't want to edit, so let's get it right from the start. All right, it is definitely time for an update. It's been a little bit since I let you guys know what was going on the last time I talked to you. I just had my big appointment and we had some things set in motion for what we would like to happen as far as our infertility treatments are concerned. So I'm just going to jump right in because I have my my timer, because I'm determined to not make a long video because I never make short videos anymore. So here we go. Our original plan with treatments was we were going to try 100 milligrams of Clomid just as a test run to see if I get a surge, a positive ovulation test with 100 milligrams of Clomid. If we did get a surge, then we were going to do the following cycle with unmonitored IUI cycle with 100 milligrams of Clomid. If I didn't get a surge, then our plan was to go with monitored cycle with 100 milligrams of Clomid with an IUI. But it was all depending on how the cycle turned out, if I got the surge or not. And then if that cycle didn't work, then we were going to move on to what's called COH, have a COH cycle, which is controlled ovarian hyperstimulation, which is injectable medications. They monitor you with ultrasounds, and then they pair it with an IUI. And then if that didn't work, we were going to move on to IVF. We really didn't want to spend too much time in the IUI department because it can get a little pricey. Each IUI is $350, but the COH cycle is $1,250, and so I didn't want to be doing 2 or 3 of those cycles when I could have been putting that money towards an IVF cycle. Now, that all being said, all of this was dependent on Jason's sperm function test, which he had done on the 21st of January. And a sperm function test is pretty much a semen analysis, but more detailed. They check and see how well Jason's sperm would penetrate an egg, not with an actual egg, but I believe they use mucus or simulated mucus to like emulate what getting through an egg would be like. And they look and see how the sperm moves, not just that it moves, but how it moves, if it's moving in circles, you know, etc. Anyways, it's just a more detailed semen analysis. So, because if his sperm function test came back with bad numbers, then they wouldn't even allow us to do IUI. They would just advise to move straight on to IVF. But I figured everything would be fine because he's never had a problem with motility. He's never had a problem with anything. He had some trouble with morphology, but medication, vitamins that he was taking helped with that. His count was a little on the low side, but not horrific, just like slightly low. So I really didn't think that anything would come negative out of the sperm function test. That's not the case. Of course, nothing is ever easy for us, but anyway, Jason's test came back and there was a problem with his motility. What they do when they're checking his sperm in the sperm function test is they wash it first, because they would wash it in an IUI cycle and they would wash it for IVF, and so it's just to see how, anyway, they wash it, and after the wash they like the motility to be 85% or more, and anything less than that they don't recommend IUI. They suggest you go right on to IVF, and Jason's was a 72. So that's not very good. Although it's not a 0, it's still not not good, especially after the wash. I think before the wash it's like they like it to be 50%, but after the wash they like it to be 85. So that wasn't good to hear, although it didn't completely deter me from wanting to do an IUI. I just, you know, our odds would be lower. But then she let me know that there is also a problem or difficulties. The sperm has difficulties penetrating the egg, or would have problems penetrating the egg. Apparently it can get in the first layer of the egg, or the simulated egg, And but what's supposed to happen is the tail is supposed to spin to like propel itself further into the egg, and Jason's have a hard time doing that. It's not that they don't do it, but not many of them do. So I guess the lab will rate something as like good, borderline, and severe, and Jason's numbers were borderline. So when I talked to the doctor, she let me know that she would recommend IVF with ICSI, which of course she would recommend that if Jason's having trouble penetrating an egg. IVF with ICSI. ICSI is where, like IVF, what happens, just a little background, they take my eggs, they take Jason's sperm, and they put them together and sort of let nature take its course. But with ICSI, it's ICSI is the letters. Something sperm injection. They literally take Jason's sperm and inject it into the egg rather than letting it sort of take its course in the dish. So that would eliminate the problem of Jason's sperm has a hard time penetrating the egg. So I have nothing against IVF with ICSI, and if we ever do IVF, we are going to do ICSI, just because we will. But it's $8,000. Now, I think that that's a really reasonable amount of money for a child. You know, for me to become a parent, I don't mind spending the money. But we would have to save for several months. We probably wouldn't be able to do an IVF cycle until January. What with us trying to pay down our debt and saving for an IVF cycle, it would just take us a long time. So, yeah, I was really hoping to be able to do an IUI. So my doctor said that she would not do a COH cycle with me, the controlled ovarian hyperstimulation, because our odds are so low that for it to work. And the side effects from the medication, your risk of overstimulating on injectable medication is really high, and the risks outweigh our chances. So she won't do injectable medications with an IUI with me. She won't do it. However, she said if I wanted to go into an IUI unmedicated, since I can't ovulate on my own with Clomid, or I don't get a surge in any event, that she would do an unmedicated, unmonitored IUI cycle with me, so long as I understand that she doesn't think it will work. But like, she's just more or less doing it to appease me, because his numbers aren't severe, they're borderline. So she would consent to do that, but she wouldn't consent to me being medicated because the risks of the medication are higher than my odds of conceiving with IUI are. So that's that. Basically, Jason's sperm doesn't like to get into my egg. And it took me a few days to come to terms with it. I'm still not come to terms with it, who am I kidding? But I found out last week, and I would have done an update right away, but I needed some time to digest that. Yeah, so what we're doing today is cycle day 2. I am going to do an unmedicated, unmonitored IUI cycle this cycle. But I am not under any false pretenses. I understand that this isn't going to work, but it's sort of something that I just need to check off my list as something that I tried. So we're only going to do it once, and then we're going to, if it doesn't work, break until January of 2012 to do an IUI or an IVF cycle. That's that. How's my time doing? About almost 10 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much all of the information that I have for you. When we go in for our IUI this cycle, it'll probably be around the 17th, 18th, or 19th of this month. So I mean, that's not too far away. And I mean, I am excited about it, and I'm hopeful that it will work. However, I'm not expecting it to, and I absolutely hate the fact that I'm gonna have to stop trying to conceive until January of 2012. Like, that just, the thought makes me sick to my stomach. And I never in a million years thought that that's what would have to be done for us to get pregnant. Don't get me wrong, like, the months between, like, while we're saving, we're not going to be not trying, but, like, I'm not going to be doing OPKs, and I'm not going to be taking pregnancy tests, because it'll just do my head in, knowing what my odds are of getting pregnant naturally. You know, I probably will just wait. So, I mean, it'll in turn probably mean you'll see me less. I mean, I'll still update you with what's going on in my life, but if I'm not trying to conceive, I'm not really sure what else I would do videos on. And plus, I think it would be hard for me to do videos. So I ask for your positive thoughts and all of the wonderful things that you always say to make me feel better. I'm not very happy about our situation, but it's something that we have to deal with, and we'll deal with it. And if this IUI cycle doesn't work, which we're expecting it not to, then we'll just deal with it. What else can you do? Yeah. Sorry, this isn't more cheerful, but yeah, I'm not very cheerful. So I'll leave it at that. I'll update you when I get my positive ovulation. I'll probably update that on Facebook, so if you want to know about that, you know, you can go on my Facebook. It's Amy, last name Turtle Ames. And I will try to video as much as I can of the IUI. I know Baby Dreams, you did a live IUI, and I'm going to try and see if I can do the same thing. I'm going to steal that idea from you because it was a great idea. If I can, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll keep you guys informed with what's going on with the cycle, and please, 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 please cross your fingers and cross everything that you can, because I think we need it. I think we genuinely need it this time. All right. I love you all. You know that. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon with an update about ovulation. Okay. Bye for now.